Welcome back. Well, I don't know if you noticed or not, but by looking behind me, the walls are closing in on us. We got sheetrock going up. And really, I gotta say, it all of a sudden seems like this place is turning into a real house. It's a miracle. Well, if you watched our last episode, then you might remember we were taking a few weeks off from winter weather here in northern Idaho and going down to check on our boat in Mexico. So if you're interested in a little boat update, stick around, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But for now, I want to just give you a quick update on what we're doing here in this house. So, as you can tell, we got sheetrock going up on the walls. I'm not going to cover a whole lot of detail about putting up sheetrock because I'm no expert. Just like most things that have been happening in this house, it's been about 30 years since I've done a lot of this stuff. So just getting back into the swing of things has taken a little bit of time and a little bit of effort and quite a few mistakes for me just to even get remotely proficient at hanging drywall again. I'm just going to say we are just currently installing sheetrock or drywall in the upstairs portion of this house, just so we can get some section of this place as a finished livable space instead of living in squalor all the time. Because right now we're in a construction zone everywhere. It's dirty, dusty, messy, and there's junk all over the place. So we're really just trying to finish this upstairs so we can live somewhat comfortably and somewhat civilized, and then worry about the rest of the house. One of the biggest things that's changed since the last time I did any real sheetrock work, which again was almost 30 years ago, is this sheetrock hoist or sheetrock lift. I don't ever remember seeing one of these back in the day when I was doing this for work. It really makes life a whole lot easier. This thing will lift up to just about 12 feet high and it has no trouble picking these things up. But it really allows the ceiling to go up or even the higher portions of the walls with not a whole lot of effort. I can hang a lot of this stuff by myself now, which before it would take two of us and a whole lot of struggling to hold sheets over our head and try to nail them in at the same time. So this thing has been amazingly helpful. So again, I can put up sheets by myself and Brenda can come along behind me and trim out windows and electrical boxes with this little roto-zip. It really makes the process a lot easier and saves our back and our arms and all that stuff, which at my age, I'm pretty happy about. So for now, this is about as far as we're gonna go with sheetrock. We did get this upper living area and this back corner bedroom done, but we're holding off on the upstairs bathroom just until we get plumbing and water supply lines run through the house. And that really is the next big step, which is probably even more exciting than doing sheetrock. That will feel like a real house once it can turn on a faucet. That's gonna be great. So that's the next step. Plumbing and water supply lines, as well as getting water from our well into the house. So we'll hopefully be covering all that in some upcoming videos. But for now, I think that's about all I really need to say about sheetrock. We've got as much up as we're gonna do right now. So that's it for that. Let's talk about our boat. I don't know if you know this or not, but Mexico is a really long way from northern Idaho. It's about as far as we can get and still live in the United States. We left here in, well, the middle of a snowstorm actually. It was dumping snow. We had about 18 inches of snow on the ground. We drove for a few days, got down to Mexico, which was surprisingly pleasant, and took a look at our boat. I've had quite a few people ask how our boat has been doing, sitting in dry storage for 2 years now. That's a long time, a whole lot longer than I thought it would sit, but surprisingly, the boat looks great. outside, as you might expect, is covered in a pretty thick layer of boatyard grime and dust and funk. And it's getting pretty weathered just sitting out in the sun. But inside, she looks exactly like we left her. There's no rot, no mold, no bugs, no anything. It looks exactly like we left her. Actually, it's not bad in here at all. The dust is all on the outside.
Dirty. Very dirty. On the outside.
Going down there and checking on the boat was really more than anything peace of mind. We're not going sailing this year. That's just not in the cards, especially when we got this big house we're trying to finish out and get livable. But along with just some peace of mind with checking on the boat, a big reason we went down there was to just haul off a lot of stuff that didn't need to be there anymore. That sailboat was our home for about 12 years, so everything we owned really was on that boat when we went cruising. We didn't have a storage unit, we didn't have stuff in any other place, so a big reason for going down there was to get a lot of that stuff off the boat that didn't need to be there anymore. We got this house now, we got a place to put stuff, so we took out an entire van load of stuff, jammed to the roof. That sucker was packed. And now my guess is that's gonna be one fast boat. It's got a racing stripe with about 2,000 pounds less of stuff on it. I'd like to go sailing just to see what she's like. But as far as the boat long term, I have no idea what's gonna happen with it. It seems like it's pretty difficult to me to have a house a whole country away from a boat and be able to maintain both of them to the standard we want to maintain at. So we're trying to really figure out what to do with the boat. A lot of people have asked if we're going to sell the boat or if we're going cruising again or what we're doing. I don't really know. If somebody came along and wanted to buy the boat, I'm sure we'd sell it. But I'm still sort of holding out that maybe we'll have another season or two, you know, to cruise a little more, but we'll see what happens. It is really hard to be up here and have a boat way down there, I'll tell you that much, even though the boat has sat amazingly well. If you followed along with our videos for a long time, then I'm sure you know the story that I lived on a boat for 25 years, Brenda and I together for 20 years. We traveled full-time for about 8 years. In that 8 years of traveling and cruising full-time, it seemed like we stored the boat somewhere during the off-season, whether that was hurricane season down in the tropics or whether that was winter and snow and misery up in the inside passage towards Alaska. It just seemed like every year there's a cruising season and then there's an off-season. So in those full-time years of traveling, half the year generally the boat sat somewhere in a dusty, dirty yard. And down in Puerto Penasco, in the northern tip of the Sea of Cortez, it seems like the boat has sat better there than anywhere else. I don't know why that is, whether it's just hot and dry versus wet and humid. I don't know, but the boat has really sat well, which is kind of nice. So for those of you who have been asking about storing a boat down there, it to me seems like a great place. And I think that's about all I can say about that. So, thanks again for watching, because that's all I'm going to ramble about today. See you next time. Hopefully we'll have some plumbing going in. All right, talk to you soon.